Hi everyone. Today, this webinar will focus on the new release. We're excited to introduce you to three major impact projects. Number one, out-of-box beautiful financial statements. Number two, a brand new module for cost plus billing automation. And number three, a new feature called Ignore Budget found in the job forecast. Let's also tackle some of the smaller items that were added that will add a ton of value to your business. From a high-level perspective, let's tackle some of the accounting features. Number one, we set up the ability to prevent a duplicate vendor code with similar information. Number two, in AP invoicing, we added a copy from function to make it easy to copy a similar invoice. Number three, in the posted AR invoice screen, we added the ability to change the transaction date. Number four, in posted general journal entries, we added a reverse button and also the ability to change the transaction date. Number five, in all of the subledgers, there's a GL integration tab. We now added the account name so you can easily reference the GL code. Number six, in the vendors screen on the main tab, there is the vendor name. We've now added extra role security to control who can edit that vendor name. And number seven, in the approval workflows, you can now route your AP invoices by cost item or cost item group. Next, let's highlight some of the project management features. Number one, the system will now automatically default the last job and company selected on each of the screens. It will ignore the user default setup. Number two, we added additional drill down within the job dashboard. Number three, the job setup screen has been optimized and the billing defaults can be set up so it automatically generates the billing reports. Number four, the job CSI division codes, known as cost item groups, can now be copied from the CSI division standards. Number five, the job budget screen now accommodates the fourth and fifth level of job breakdown. Number six, on subcontract change orders, you have the ability to revise and edit the approval date. Number seven, throughout the screens, you can easily find the job by typing in the address, the job name, or number. And lastly, for those who use RFIs, you've always had the ability to send it out to multiple recipients. Now you can mark which ones are CC'd. It'll also track all the responses from each of the individuals and date stamp them and store that within Premier. In addition to the project management and accounting features, we've also optimized some reports. Now in the job cost transaction report, you'll see a new column called vendor. It also has full drill down. In the job AP expense report, we've added a description field and also enhanced it by adding full drill down. So let's take a look at some of these amazing features. Let's take a look at the out-of-box beautiful financial statements. Down at the bottom, you'll click on the menu item called Reports. At the top left, you'll click on General Ledger. You'll see two main menu items, Balance Sheet Report and Income Statement Report. If you don't see these, contact your administrator to make sure they're added to your menu design. If you click into the balance sheet, you'll notice you'll have a variety of new options. Balance sheet comparison by month, quarter, division, even by company, and a summarized version. If I go into the comparison, you'll see here you can choose which company as well as which particular date. You can compare it to the previous month, previous year, etc. You also have the option to hide zero balances, hide account numbers, and sub-accounts. Let's click on View Report. As you can see, we have a beautiful balance sheet from the previous month comparison. At the top left, you can click on Back. You can run it by the different options. Let's run the balance sheet by quarter. Click View Report, and it automatically generates by quarter. At the top left, click on Back, and you can run it by the various options. Next, let's take a look at the income statement options. You can run your income statement comparisons, actual versus budget. You can run the income statement by month, quarter, division, company, and even summary. Let's take a look at the actual versus budget. In Premier, you have the ability to open up a company budget. You can run it from any date range. You can also hide your zero balances and any account numbers. Let's take a look. Next, at the top left, click on Back. You can also run it by comparison. And you can run it to previous months, previous quarters, or same month previous year, or same quarter previous year. You can also run it by company. If you have multiple companies, you can run it for all your companies, or you can even set up your own grouping. For example, I've created a group called Investors or Main Companies. To create a group, simply type in the word Company Group in the quick search. It opens up the section where you create your own groupings. So let's say we wanted to create a brand new group, G1 for Group 1. At the bottom, I choose the companies that belong a part of that group. Once I click Save, back in my income statement section, if I reload it, in the company group, I'll see G1 Group 1. So that way, it's going to run the income statement but only include those companies within that group. As you can see, at the top, it has companies CC and KK. Alternatively, I can run it for all my companies. So this is an income statement by all companies. Next, let's discuss Cost Plus Billing Automation. This is a brand new module that was designed for construction managers or home builders who tend to bill on a month-to-month basis based on their actual cost. Within Cost Plus Billing, you'll see that there's two new menu items. One to create the template, which is deriving the rules and how the form will appear, and number two, where the project managers will go on a month-to-month basis to run their billing applications and choose which items to include on the billing. If we click on the application, you'll see that you can select your job at the top. Within there will be the application, and you'll enter in the from and the end date. In the middle, there'll be a button called Auto Generate. As you select this, it automatically merges in all the actual costs. It also includes any pending AP invoices. So as a project manager, you have full discretion what to include and not include. At the bottom, you'll see there's additional tabs which you can review. I'll reference a few high-level features. In the approved invoices, a project manager can review every single line item and choose which to include in the billing. By marking it yes, it'll be referenced on this billing. Later, we'll merge it into next month's billing and never will exclude it. As a project manager, you can see the actual cost, which can't be edited, but you can change what the current bill reads for the customer. In addition to that, you can reference any PO, subcontract, sub-change order, or change order number. You also have the Pending Invoice Approval tab. This will allow a project manager to view invoices that are routed for approval and choose to include them. So this way, even though they haven't finalized the approval, they can be merged into the billing. The staff time automatically merges from your payroll. However, you can add additional staff time. You can also apply certain markups by occupation and trade. It also merges in other transactions in addition to vendor invoices and labor. It has the ability to mark and track your retainage and even automatically release it as of a certain date. And lastly, it automatically generates 3 reports: the application for payment, which is your AIA schedule of values, your billing breakdown, which is fully customizable based on the template you've selected, and the transactional details for this period based on what you've included on the billing. It also has the ability for you to merge all the backup, including all the AP invoices that have been scanned in. As you select this, it automatically merges them into the document section, and you can zip them and choose which items to include as a folder. Here is a sample of the AIA format. As you can see, it shows the summary of the contract, the current application summary, and breaks it down by general condition, contract works, and change orders. There's a lot of flexibility with this design. In addition to the AIA, you also have to provide the customer with a billing breakdown. This can be completely tailored to customer requirements. You can choose which columns of information are displayed, how they're named, and you can also choose your grouping, and if they show in summary or in detail. In addition to the billing report, you may also have to provide all the transactional detail for that period. This is the third report that automatically generates. The third major impact feature revolves around the job forecast. In the bottom left, you can click on Processing and select Project Management. Within there, you'll see the job forecast. If it's not on your menu, contact your administrator. At the top, you can select your job. This is a fully customizable grid. So as a project manager, on the far right, you can click on the book icon to select the columns of information that you want displayed. At the bottom left, you can always reset it to the defaults that we feel are most adequate for this page. However, you can easily merge them over onto the right-hand side and have them display. As a project manager, I can also easily drag and drop the columns in my preferred order. I may choose to merge over my comment line directly beside the budget variance so I can easily explain them. In addition to that, as a project manager, you can select the period that you're forecasting for. What's great is prior to forecasting, you can actually review the details. By selecting on any of the line items, all the details related to that are found down below. I can see the original budget for that line item, any change orders that have been approved or those that are pending, any purchase orders, any subcontracts, again, those that are approved or pending, and any actual costs from accounting. Also, a project manager can easily transfer budgets. By selecting a line item, you can click on the transfer budget and easily transfer part of the budget to a new line item. This will automatically create a change order and mark it as an internal change order. In this case, you just have to click Approve. Typically, the estimate at completion is calculated using the higher of the budget or actuals plus outstanding commitment and anticipated cost. With the new feature we've added called Ignore Budget, the EAC will be calculated only using the actual cost and outstanding commitment and anticipated cost. Hence, it would completely ignore the current budget. Next, let's take a look at a few other features that were added to the forecasting screen. The Anticipated Cost worksheet is a great and easy way for project managers to impact their estimate at completion. You can add multiple line items, easily enter in the description and the amount. We've added a new section called Category, where you can flag it as an expected cost or contingency. You may have $300,000 of expected change orders that are sitting in a pending status, and you want to record them here for this particular month because you want it to impact your estimate at completion for this particular period. You can also add anticipated costs and mark them as contingencies. This way, you can see that information on the grid and even in the anticipated cost report. The following month, once those change orders become approved, you'll come into the screen and mark those items as completed. That way, you won't be double counting your EAC. At the bottom left, you can see your previous anticipated costs from other months. As a project manager, it is your responsibility to mark this as completed. The new feature will automatically remove the amount from the EAC once you mark it as complete. If you run the anticipated cost report, you'll see that new category will display, showing you if it's contingency or expected cost. As we all know, forecasting is one of the most important tasks that project managers undertake. This new screen gives you all the relevant information required to accurately determine your current budget position for each of the cost codes on a single screen. Just a reminder that you cannot swap from the EAC screen to the job forecast screen during a project. If you have started forecasting for a job in the AA screen, you must continue to use that screen. Next, let's jump into some of the smaller features. Throughout the software, we've set up the default for job and company to follow you along the system. This way, you no longer have to set up your own user preferences. As you select a job and you enter it in, the next screen that you open will automatically default that same job number. As you can see here from the same example, if I make any changes to one screen and open another, it will automatically default the last job entered. Next, let's take a look at the job dashboard and all the new drill downs that we've added. If you aren't using this, we highly recommend it. The job dashboard allows you to select your company and job at the top. The top include high-level KPIs. The middle section are outstanding items such as RFIs, submittals, transmittals, etc. The third section is anything that's pending, including change orders, proposed quotes, commitments, which are POs, subs, or sub change orders, invoices, or your billing. The fourth section is your approvals, and the fifth section would be a summarized version of your cost and your revenue. The dashboard gives project managers a centralized area to see absolutely everything related to their job. It allows for full drill down, and this latest release extended additional drill down. It also automatically turns items red that require your attention. You can easily also generate brand new items such as RFIs, submittals, and etc. directly from the screen. So let's show you how interactive it actually is. As a project manager, I can see my remaining budget. If I click into this, I can now automatically launch the job budget control screen. This is an amazing screen because it shows every single line item and what the remaining budget is. From here, I can instantly generate subcontracts, change orders, or purchase orders in a matter of seconds. A project manager can also drill down into any over budget cost items. As you can see, it's in red because the job is at high risk. This drills down directly into the job cost progress report, and all the items in blue allow for further drill down analysis. Another important area is overbilled vendors. As a project manager, you always want to make sure this is at zero, and if it's not, it's important to drill down into the details. At the end of the month, you always want to make sure your billing percentage is higher than your cost complete percentage. At any point in time, you can run your overbilled or underbilled amount and drill down into the details to analyze your WIP. Over on the far right, you can see your customer or vendor holdback retainage. Directly underneath that, you can see your AP invoices that are pending, as well as your billing that is pending for your customers. You can drill down and it automatically launches the corresponding billing screen, in this case, progress billing. If you drill down into accounts payable, it shows you the AP invoices that are pending. With this release, we've also added the ability that you can drill down into your pending or proposed change orders. If you click on the graph, it takes you into the details, which makes it easy for project managers to approve these change orders or add new ones. In addition to that, you also can drill down into your pending commitments. Examples of this would be subcontracts, subcontract change orders, and purchase orders. Again, you can easily print, post, and even create new items. Next, let's open up the Jobs menu and talk about some of the new enhancements. First, you'll notice that all the contacts have been put in the Contacts tab. Here is where you can find the project manager, the architect, etc. As you pre-fill it within this section, it automatically adds as a default for all the other screens. Next, in the Cost Structure tab, you'll notice we added 2 new buttons. You can easily import your estimate directly from here. You can also do it within the Excel add-in. However, if it's done from within here, you'll have to save it as a CSV file. Once it's been uploaded, you can also click on the secondary button to easily view the estimate. You'll also notice one of the tabs has been renamed to read Alerts and Settings. At the top is where you're going to find all the alerts, and below that are the settings. You can double click into any of them to set them to ignore, warning, or errors. Typically, project managers want to set these at least to warnings or errors. If a project manager is incorrectly coding to one of these jobs, or if it's a very tight job where you don't want the cost to exceed what has been budgeted, or even the commitments to exceed what was budgeted, this is where you would set this up. This automatically pulls from the default setup in the job subledger. However, when you're creating the job, you can override them to set as whatever defaults you prefer. Next, let's go into the Billings tab. You'll notice here at the bottom, there's a feature called Billing Type. As a project manager, you can choose if it's a Progress, T&M, Cost Plus, or all of the above. The new feature will automatically launch the associated billing report. The reason for that is that it automatically sets it up. And the reason we've defaulted this automatic setup is because change orders that are approved will only automatically roll into the Progress billing report if it's been set up. Hence, this automatically defaults the creation of any of the billing reports so that all your change orders will automatically roll in to a billing report so you never miss a change order billing. Next, project managers may want to group some cost items together, known as cost item groups, or in the construction industry, CSI divisions. In our system, this new feature allows you to copy from another company, another template, as well as the standard CSI 16 division codes or 50 division codes. This will automatically load them, and this will be applied to every job across company. Next, in some cases, project managers want to be able to track their costs in more detail. Premier allows for 5 levels of job cost breakdown. This can be set up for each individual job. On the far left, I have my cost types, then I have my cost items with the ability to group them by the cost item group. And on the far right, you'll see there's an optional 4th and 5th level of breakdown. This is known as department and location, but these can be renamed. You can add the different departments or locations manually, or if your estimate contains them, they'll automatically be displayed here. The new feature we've added is to allow those 4th and 5th levels of breakdown to be displayed on the job budget control screen. This way, you can see that level of detail and breakdown within the screen and easily take action to generate subcontracts, purchase orders, or change orders. Next, we added a feature within the subcontract change orders. Commonly, project managers want the ability to control the approval date or even make any revisions to the subcontract. In More Actions, you'll see there's an option to revise. Upon revision, you have now the ability to make any changes. You can change the approval date, which is found in the grid itself, or you can make any changes to the detailed costing. Also, we've added a feature so when you add a brand new subcontract change order and you go to post it, you'll have the option to enter in what the approval date should be. Next, we've added a feature so you can easily find the job in multiple screens using a variety of options. You can type in the number, the job name, or any part of the address and it will automatically retrieve it. This is done in many areas throughout the program. Next, we've added a ton of enhancements around the RFIs. This is a fantastic module, and if you're not using it, we recommend you take a look at it. In fact, we even have a mobile offering for project managers out on the field. The great thing about this module is that it automates the collection of the responses and auto stores and date stamps absolutely everything. So from a liability perspective, you have zero risk. Here's an example of me emailing an RFI. I can select to who it's going to. The new feature allows you now to CC different recipients, and a different type of email will be sent to those that are CC'd. It allows you to pull from your contact groups to choose which people are going to be CC'd. At the bottom, you can also choose which documents you'd like to include within the email. As you email this out, it will send 2 different types of emails. One to the to recipient, which will be on the left-hand panel. The to recipient can easily open up this from absolutely any device by simply clicking on the link. Let's take a look. Here's an example of what the recipient would receive. When they click on it, they can open up the hyperlink. It will automatically launch the RFI into a web page. They can open up the drawings or the photos or anything else that is attached. They can also easily put in the response information. They could print or simply just send the response. This automatically syncs that response back into the software and will CC any of the recipients that it's been responded to. As you can see, I just received an email informing that this has been responded to. I can also click into that link to look at the response. So not only does it track the multiple recipients and track the different responses and who responded to, it also informs anyone who's been CC'd. This is a great feature and we encourage every project manager to take a look. As for reports, we have the job cost transaction report. Within here, we added a new column called vendor and we allow for a full drill down. This way, as a project manager, you can easily see every single transactional detail for that job and drill down into any information. As for the job AP expense report, we added a new field called description, and this one also allows for full drill down capability. Next, let's take a look at some of the accounting features. In the vendor screen, we've always had a feature that if you type in the same vendor code, it'll warn you with a pop-up. However, now we've extended that capability so that if you enter in the same address, telephone number, or other common elements, it'll send you a pop-up that says there's already a code with similar information. This helps prevent entering in duplicate vendor information. Another amazing feature is in the new AP invoice screen. We've added a copy from feature. This way, if you have AP invoices that are similar from 1 month or 1 week, instead of using recurring AP invoices, you can use the copy from functionality. First, it's important to create a template. Create an AP invoice for the first time, you can mark it as a template. For example, hydro bills, equipment rental bills, etc. Then, in More Actions, you can choose the Add From. This allows you to copy from the templates. It populates the data, and then you can edit any information, such as the amount. Once it's entered, you can then go ahead and post the AP invoice. This makes data entry a lot easier. Next, in posted AR invoices, we wanted to make it easier for you guys to change the distribution or make any edits as required. You'll see now at the bottom, you can easily change the transaction date, you can do a debit or a credit, or you can completely reverse the invoice in just a matter of seconds. This automates the entire process for you, which helps eliminate any errors due to manual entry. In posted journals, you'll see we've also made it easier for you to make any changes. You can easily change the transaction date by simply putting in the new date, or you can reverse the journal completely in a matter of seconds. Next, each of the subledgers found in Premier are the way that the system connects back into the financials. Within each of the subledgers, you'll see there's a GL integration tab. We've added a new field called account name. So when you're looking at the distribution, you can see the account name references that distribution, which is essentially the GL code name. Next, we've enhanced the security found on the vendor screen. Here you'll find payment direct deposit information, which controls what prints out on the check. However, the vendor name found in this section can also make its way onto a check if the payee is not filled out. Hence, in Role Security, under Special Actions, you'll see a feature in here, can update with vendor payment direct deposit information. This also controls who can edit the vendor name on the main screen. Next, let's talk about the enhancements made into the approval workflows. We've added additional filters known as the cost items and cost item groups. So for example, if you've got an AP invoice for one job, but it has to be routed to multiple project managers based on a cost item or cost item group, you can now set up this type of workflow. We hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you.